Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
I'm in the chair, Joe's in the air, and we're going to have a abbreviated episode today here on Untamed Nation. Reason is we got the governor's debate tonight up in Fort Lupton. So Joe and team need to get on the road early. So we're going to have a little bit shorter of an episode today. Still impactful, still educational, still entertaining, of course, but just, a little shorter version today. That's all. Hope you don't mind. Joe will be back in chair tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be ready to go too. He's been, there's a lot going on with Joe, and I'm sure he's going to want to clue you in on everything that's happening. And there you see tonight, you got the Republican gubernatorial dinner and debate. The debate starts at 6 o'clock. I did see in the chat yesterday, there was a ask of, can we watch this? So I found out this will be streamed tonight on Facebook. So I am dropping the chat. I'm going to drop the link into the chat on Rumble. It's also on Joe's socials. So feel free, okay? It's going to be on Facebook with the Women of Weld. Okay, they're hosting the event tonight. 6 to 8 o'clock will be the debate portion of the evening. So please tune in, get to know the participants, and get ready to watch Joe crush it, just like we know he will. All right, so yeah, please do so. Join in and see what's out there. See what's out there. See who's running on the Republican side. Get to hear the issues. Get to see where they stand, and start making up your own opinions, formulating your own thoughts. Yeah, pretty cool. I never thought I would be involved in anything like this, and somehow here I am, which is pretty crazy to me, but it's a lot of fun. I'm learning a bunch. But we will be going up to Fort Lupton right after the show, and we'll be on the ground. I'll be talking to people, getting some sound bites, seeing what the attendees think of what's going on in Colorado on the political side, so to say. So yeah. So today's episode, we're going to be covering a couple of things, right? The theme today is really, we're in an endless fight for America, right? We're going to talk about that, the endless fight for America, the differences between the left and right? We're going to talk about, Trump put a very interesting video out on Truth Social yesterday that I want to play for you, kind of outlining the Dems' plan. We kind of talked about it on the show yesterday a little bit. We're going to hit on school indoctrinations, and once again, what's going on in the school systems, what's been going on to the school system has culminated to what we see on the streets, right? That's the result of indoctrination, is you're seeing it firsthand every day on the streets. I want to talk about Boston Public Schools a little bit today. They had a walkout recently about ICE, but, academics are important. So we're going to take a look at how well the Boston Public School system is functioning today. And we're going to the last clip of the show today, we're actually going to hear the quiet part out loud from the liberal women, right? I did a whole block yesterday about the insane liberal women, how, they need to be deported. That would solve a lot of problems. That really would solve a lot of problems, right? But you got to hear what's really inside of them. And this lady takes the cake. Absolutely takes the cake. Can't wait to play this clip towards the end of the show. But yeah, let's dive into it. Right? So we're in a battle, right? We talk about it on the show pretty consistently every day. It's an endless war for America. And I was on the phone this morning talking to one of my best friends. Just driving in, we were just talking, and it came up like, dude, how does this ever end, right? Because I've been in a battle personally hard now for 2 years. I've been in the mix for 8, right? I've been on the outside, getting informed, sharing stories with my friends, actually converted one of my friends over from left to right. So I take that as a dub. But that's really what I've been fighting. And then what happened to me at my job. And then, yeah, I'm fighting that thing all the way, right? And I'm sure they're watching this. Hi, guys. We're not going anywhere. So, yeah, you can always give us a call and decide to do the right thing, but they never will. But you can if you want to, Cherry Creek. You can pick up the phone and do the right thing. We'll listen. But I'm in that fight now 2 years, and there's no signs of that fight coming to a stop anytime soon. So I was talking to my buddy about that, and then I just said, dude, we're never gonna have to stop fighting. If you really think about it, both sides feel this way, right? So how do we collectively coexist in a nation under a federal government where both sides continuously want to fight each other on every turn? Because once again, there's really no unifying thing in America except one for our politicians, and that's Israel. We all know that. That's the only thing our public officials seem to unanimously support. Quite fascinating, mind you, quite fascinating. That's the only thing they could agree with, and that has to do with a country thousands of miles away, cross oceans, cross a couple seas, right? But that's the only thing we can seem to agree on in our Congress, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm talking with my friend, like just thinking about it, left and right, Democrats, Republicans, where's the middle ground anywhere, right? Let's just go through a couple of things. Let's go through views of government first, right? Democrats have a view, the left, right? Let's not call them Democrats anymore. Let's be honest here. They are not Democrats. They're the left. Okay, the left controls the Democrats. Wolf in sheep's clothing, right? They dress up, they put the D on it, but underneath it, boom, right? Kind of like the trans thing. You see a pretty girl at the bar, you start talking to her, she likes you, you like her, and one thing next to the other, you think you're going home with something, bam! Something's under the dress, something's in the pants, oh, right? That's kind of what the Dems do. That's what they do. They dress up like they're Democrats, like they're moderates, but their messaging is strictly leftist, right? Strictly leftist. View on government, the right. What are the right views on government? Just simple, right? We're not going to go into like deep complexities, this, that, and the other thing. Just simple, basic government principles, right? The right prefers limited government, lower taxes, deregulation, individual liberty, believe in personal responsibility, sees big government as a threat, right? That's what the right does. What does the left think of big government? They favor expensive government to address inequalities, provide social services, regulate corporations, and enforce equity. Views government as a tool for justice and collective good. So those two sides basically believe government has two different completely functions. That's just on government, the view on what the purpose of government is, right? The Dems want to control the left want to control every single aspect of your life. The right, yeah, they kind of do also want to control every aspect of your life, but they go about it differently, right? If you really want to get down into the weeds. But simply, the left want government involved in everything. The right typically don't want to have it involved. Simple. Immigration and borders. The right, they emphasize strong border security, enforcement of immigration laws, prioritizing legal immigration, and reducing illegal entries. Often sees uncontrolled borders as a national security and economic issue. How can it not be? Right? How many people just let anyone walk into their homes anytime, whenever? I'm sure the libs do. I'm sure the libs leave their doors unlocked all the time. Hey, come on, free food. My kitchen's open, right? Take what you want from my fridge. I'm upstairs in my bedroom. If you want to knock on my door, I got some clothes in the closet for you. I got some sneakers in the, you know what I'm saying, under the bed. Right? Because the libs believe on immigration and they believe in open borders. They support lenient policies on immigration. They want pathways to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. They believe in sanctuary jurisdictions, right? They believe that everyone should be allowed to come to this country and mooch off the system because we were founded on stolen land, right? That's the whole mindset. Like, no one's illegal. No one's illegal on stolen land. No, it was conquered. It was taken over, right? And if the natives had the technological advancements that the Europeans had when the Europeans came over here, the natives would have beat their asses out, but they didn't. Okay? That's been the story of history since the dawn of time, right? Those that can conquer will, those that can't will lose. That was the story of human history for the longest. And Europeans came out on top. That's the long and short of it. Either be conquered or conquered. That's how the world works. And then after that, right, it gets carved up, and then you have societies formed, you have laws, you have governments, right? You have all that stuff that starts coming into place. The left disagrees with any type of control of mass migration into this country because this country is, quote unquote, stolen. Right? So like even their perception of history doesn't line up with reality of history. So how do you coexist in a country? How do you move forward as a country when you simply don't even agree on the history of this country? Right? And the enforcement of immigration into this country, right? Because what makes a country, right? Dr. Savage is a radio host, podcast. I've listened to him, and I've listened to him for a couple of years now. And he's preached the idea of borders, language, culture. You can't be a country without borders. You can't be a country without a unifying language, and you can't be a country without a unifying culture. That is 100% true. That is 100% true. You don't have anything if you don't have borders to protect your country. You don't let anyone come in and out and do whatever they want in it. You don't have a unifying way of communicating with everyone with the universal language as in English that is in this country. And then culture. What is a unifying American culture? American culture has been destroyed by the left. The unifying belief that America is the greatest country ever and that anyone can achieve in this country if you do the hard work, put the effort in, you can succeed if you make good choices. It doesn't mean you're going to be a multimillionaire. It doesn't mean you're going to have a yacht, but you will have your stake, your piece of land, and a house or a place to live. If you do all those things the right way, that truly can still be done. Is it going to be the house you want? No. But then what do you do extra to get it, right? That's what the American dream is. America allows people to move up in society based on their merit. Now, if you want to work at McDonald's for $20 an hour for your rest of your life, that's your choice. But what are you going to do to better your life from that, right? Like, are you going to take classes? Are you going to learn a trade? Are you going to learn marketing? Are you going to learn social media? Are you going to learn something else while that job is a temporary hold before you elevate to the next class? Right? That's what America is about. You could elevate yourself. You can. Anyone, any race, any creed, any sex, you can elevate yourself if you work hard, have an idea, and do it. Yeah, is it hard? Is it tiring? Is it exhausting? Are you going to fail? Yes, 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 yes. But America perseverance is what's supposed to rise through that. Through those challenges, through those hardships, you're supposed to persevere. And that's why America has led the charge since our inception, because we've had that mindset. We threw a Boston Tea Party because we were getting taxed at 2%. Now we're getting taxed at almost 60% and we don't give a shit, right? We're not in the streets about it. We've been lulled to sleep. The American identity has been slowly eroded away over decades and decades and decades and decades through the indoctrination in the school systems, in the middle schools and high school levels, the indoctrination in the college levels, right? Through media, right? The indoctrination, what gets put out through mainstream media and through certain news programs and through Netflix, right? It all keeps coming. It all keeps happening. It's like we're in an endless fight and you have two sides that seemingly don't agree on anything. Economic philosophy. The right believes in advocating free market capitalism, low corporate personal taxes, reduced welfare spending. The left pushes for progressive taxes, wealth redistribution, stronger labor unions, higher minimum wage, and government intervention to reduce income inequalities. Once again, two very different beliefs. Free market versus government control. Free market versus government control. Once again, why does majority of people around the world, if they have the opportunity to come to America, to live to America, or try to get to America, why do they do that? Because it offers them the opportunity to succeed. There are people that are coming from impoverished nations that want to come to this country because some of them actually want to work their way up. And they come here illegally, and then there's a whole other category for them. Right? But that should show you that the actual mindset of people that don't live in this country, that live outside of the borders of this country, still know what happens in this country. And they're like, if I could work my ass off, I'm going to have a better life here than I do there. Right? Where else can that happen? Where else can that happen? Only in America, the most systemically racist country in the world. Just kidding about that, because we're not. Okay? We are not. We all know we're not. That's why so many people from different nationalities want to come to this country, because we welcome everyone as long as you come here for the right reasons. If you come here to believe in America, American values, American principles, working hard, not taking government handouts and trying to make your way, come on in. That's Americana. Americana is not a color. Americana is an idea. Americana is a unifying principle. And that unifying principle has been corroded and tortured and strung out and twisted and deformed into, like, what are we looking at anymore? Right? And that's all by design, specifically by the left. Let's keep going with this. Cultural and social issues. The right generally defend traditional values, nuclear family, religious liberty, free speech, and opposes many aspects of DEI, gender ideology in schools, and late-term abortion. Should be all abortion. The left, they promote DEI, gender identity, transition rights, reproductive choice, and they don't believe in the nuclear family. Once again, two totally different views. So when does this fighting stop? Because one side wants conservative way of living, leave me alone, get this out of my face. The other side is, I want this way of living, so I'm going to throw it in your face. So when does the actual fighting stop? When does it get tamped down? Or we just got to recede to our corners? And then the United States becomes completely different. We got to stop viewing us as the United States of America, and we may be sectioned off into different geographic regions in the coming years. Because it's unsustainable to keep living under a system that is trying to destroy you. It's unattainable. I don't want to live that way, right? But I have to live that way because they're making me live that way, and I refuse to give up on America. I refuse to give up on America. This country is the greatest country ever founded, period. Tell me one better. Go. Tell me one better where everyone wants to go live. Show me. Show me. Where's the migration lines to any place in South America, Central America, Africa, Middle East, Asia? You tell me where. Europe. What's going on to the European women? People paying attention? European women are under attack by the third world that's been migrated into their countries. Right? Like, that is happening. That is real. It happens here too. Let's go with crime. The right supports law and order policies, backing police, tougher sentencing. The left favors police reform, defunding, reallocation, restorative justice. What does all that mean? AKA, the right want to lock the criminals up, the left want to put them back on the street. Why do the left want to put them back on the street? Because they need their shock troops on the street to instill mass chaos, to instill fear into the people on a regular basis. That is what the left does. And the politicians that represent the left don't care because they don't have to deal with the consequences of what happens on the streets, right? They get their drivers that pick them up. They get their people that go do the shopping for them. They got the people that pay their bills, right? They have their minions that have to deal with us regular folks on the streets every day. So they never have to see it, never have to deal with it, nor do they care about us. Well, I care. I want my kid to live in a society where he could just be himself. He doesn't have to worry about girls going into boys' bathrooms or boys going into girls' bathrooms, right? None of that stuff, right? Like that's how basic it is, right? Like we are even arguing who is a man, who is a woman. Something my 3-year-old can tell you. My 3-year-old son can tell you who's a man, who's a woman. Period, point blank, end of story. But yet we have Supreme Court justices that can't tell us that difference. We have medical experts that get called in front of Congress to testify. What is a man? We literally pay tax money for this garbage. And we have people that are brought as expert witnesses in front of Congress to say, hey, can you tell me what a man is? Can you tell me what a woman is? And they can't do it, and they're medical professionals. Are you serious? That is how corrupt the left is. That's how shot and twisted the mind of the left is, that we can't even simply define what a man and a woman is. Something that has been defined since the dawn of time. Because you know what? Man and woman exist. If it was just man and man, or if it was man and a tranny that decided, I'm gonna be a guy, and this ain't gonna work, we wouldn't be here today. It would have died on the vine. It wasn't Adam and Steve. Adam and Eve. Something so basic that we can't even agree that here in America that a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl, and there are biological differences between the two. So how does this war ever stop? Serious question, because I don't want to have to fight my entire life. Like I will. I'll get mad, scream, I quit, but I'll get right back in there because I'm not a quitter. Never have been, never will be. I bitch and moan a lot, just like everybody else, but when push comes to shove, you're not moving me a freaking inch. Okay? That's the reality. I bitch and moan, but I'm not going anywhere. This country needs to be restored, but how do you beat it back? Right? How do you beat it back? Because the mental brainwashing is, it's done with. It's happened. It's occurred, and it's still going on, right? So, like, you're not going to deprogram people. So, how do we end this fight for America, right? And the reason why I bring this up is because Donald Trump put a video out yesterday on Truth, and in that video he laid out kind of what we talked about yesterday, and it was fun watching that come from the president. Like, he gets it, he knows it. He's got to pull the cord on this, right? But take a look at this clip from Trump's post from yesterday.
Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
Yeah, that was a pretty powerful video, and it's entirely true. We've seen the plan, we smelled the plan, we've tasted the plan, we've lived the plan, we're part of the plan, right? It's happening. Just look what happened to Virginia within 48 hours of them taking over that entire state. Look what the agenda they're pushing there. That agenda will come for all of us after the midterms, after the presidential, if Trump doesn't do what he needs to do in regards to the election fraud that takes place in this country every single time. That's how I believe this plan gets defeated, is you yank the cord out of the election fraud. Because once you instill the voice of the American people, you'll see that it's a legitimately 80-20, 90-10 split, that the majority, 80%, 90% of this country believe in the Republican principles that they have seen. But we'll never know that because the votes are rigged. The counts are off. The counts are void. They're bullshit. They're inaccurate. They're not true. So that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, once again, is the selection of our representatives, not the election of our representatives. And the fight also has to be taken to the schools. The indoctrination begins before these kids hit college. It's at the middle school level. It's the high school level. Through DEI initiatives, kids are being taught to be social justice warriors in school. That's the reality of it. That is the 100% truth. The public school system is being used as an arm by the left to develop their next wave of troops for the streets through their indoctrination, through DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion in the school systems. Point blank. There are activist teachers, activist administrators, activist superintendents that organize protest at schools for kids to march out and have their voices heard, even though the majority of the kids at that school can't read or do math at grade level. because they're not concerned about improving those scores. They're not concerned about increasing an educated populace. Their desire is to have an uninformed, controlled, ignorant populace. When you're ignorant, you're easy to control. When the government controls how much money they give you because you can't get a job because AI and you don't have skills, right? You're going to be on the government dime. So the government doesn't want to inform people. And the school unions, the teachers unions. See, this is the thing with education that's absolutely fascinating to me, is that for 10, 15 years, the mantra has been, America is systemically oppressive. The school systems have been systemically oppressive against black and brown people for forever. Who's been in charge of the school systems? White liberals. Majority of metropolitan school districts in California, in Colorado, Chicago, New York. Those major districts where this DEI garbage comes from, not so much, I'll give New York credit. They're not as crazy with DEI in the schools as they are out here in Colorado, I'll tell you that. They're not. I'll give them respect in New York for that. But in the majority of these, right, who's in charge of the district's DPS? Who's in charge there? What's the majority of their teachers? Trey Creek, Aurora Public Schools, Boulder Valley. White liberals. Majority of teachers are white liberals, white liberal women, to be honest with you. So the argument that the school system has been systemically oppressive towards black and brown people simply point out just how racist the white liberal women are. Because they've been in charge of the system. They are the ones in there. Right? The school district is basically run by the teachers union. The teachers union are typically controlled by the white liberal women that have been in the district for God knows how long. And they partner with the school board. And they elect the school board members, or they play with each other. They play feetsies with each other, right? So like, who actually created the systemic oppression of the students in the school system? It was the teachers unions, who happened to be controlled by the white liberal women. Fascinating. No one ever brings that up, but it's completely true. Obama controlled education for 8 years. Trump had it for 4. Biden had it for 4. Right? Like, no. Right? Education's really controlled at the local level, for the most part. And at the local level, the majority of school boards are controlled by the teachers unions. And the teachers unions are controlled by white liberal women. They go hand in hand. So the reason I bring this up is because Boston schools had a walkout the other day because ICE, right? ICE is in the air. Got to get out there. Got to get out there. Get the activists turned up. Get the activists turned up. So let's just take a quick look at this clip about the Boston Public School walkout. Yeah, we got the power. Okay, well, that's in the middle of the day. Chances are they should have class. We'll start there. So right there, the school is advocating that it's okay to miss class for something. For this, it's okay to miss it for ICE protests, right? So now where does the hierarchy begin? When and where is it acceptable to organize a walkout? What happens if students wanted to organize a walkout to protest voter fraud? Would that be allowed? What happens if some of those students want to organize a walkout in Charlie Kirk's death? Would that have been allowed? Right? Once you allow one, you should allow all, but that's not really how it works. The ones that get allowed to happen in the school systems are the ones that align with the leftist views. So they get elevated up. So Boston schools had a walkout, right? So I'm like, of course, public school system, Northeast. All right, it's in Massachusetts, so the numbers might be pretty good because Massachusetts does have a higher education rate. But here you go for Boston public schools, right? According to Boston Public Schools data from their Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System, MCAS, right? That's kind of like CMAS out here in Colorado that we went over with the other day. So anyway, for English language arts proficiency, of grade 10 students, so students in 10th grade, sophomores in high school, approximately 40% of grade 10 students meet or exceed expectations in English language arts. 40%. I'm not a math guy, but if 40% either meet or exceed, that kind of got to mean 60% don't. But I'm glad they got their priorities straight in Boston public schools, because I'm sure class time is not important or needed for those kids out on the streets. Just on law of average, one out every two of those kids can't read at grade level. But it's okay. They could be out there saying, we got the power. What power do they have? They are ignorant kids being paraded around by the public school system for political capital, pawns in the game. And those poor kids are going to be treated that way until they're out of high school. And then when they're out of high school and they don't have skills ready for real world jobs, there you got government dependency. Or you have criminal activity, because people that can't get what they want or can't earn what they want to get what they want typically will commit crime to get what they want, right? Crime's not a racial thing, right? I hope people know that. Crime's not a racial thing. Crime is a socio-economic thing, right? It comes down at the hip, like who's rich, who's poor, the poor ones typically, right? And then if you want to get into that, then open up the poverty, right? And then we all know there are more African Americans, more Hispanics in the poverty scale percentage-wise than whites, right? So like, yeah, it's not a race thing, it's a social economic thing. And how do you break that pattern is you give those kids an education. You don't let them walk out and do this. You get them in school and you make sure they're reading and writing, you hold them accountable, you're teaching them. I was in education for 17 years and it pissed me off every time that we allowed students to walk out in protest. These kids are 15, 16 years old, 14, 13, right? They're looking for any reason not to be in class. They're looking for any reason not to do work. It is your job as the adult in the room to set it straight. That is the problem. One of the problems in education is we don't set it straight because we don't want to set it straight, because once again, we want to make sure we have political activists ready to roll anytime the left is pissed about something. We don't care if we don't have kids that can read, right? Listen to the math. Here's the math one. We did the math one too. Approximately 38% of grade 10 students met or exceeded expectations. 38% in math. So that means 62% don't in math. What are they doing in Boston? Creating political activists for their own purpose, not caring about the future of those kids, just like they do out here in Colorado, just like they do out there in California, just like they do in Chicago. With these corrupt teachers unions are using these kids and sacrificing these kids. All at the same time, they're crying, oh, we're here to teach the kids, educate. No, they don't care. Ask a teacher to do extra work. Ask a teacher to stay a couple hours during the week. You run into resentment right away. Contract, no good, no go zone. But they got no problem doing this. They got no problem. Hey, I'll go lead these kids through the community when they should be in school. Got no problem doing that. Yeah, the education system needs to be addressed, President Trump. I know you're doing away with the Department of Ed, but like at the state level, dude, you got to start pulling funding from these corrupt people that are not following your EOs. You have a right to do this stuff. Like, I don't understand how, like, the Biden admin can flex and make people to do things, but Trump really can't. It's fascinating to me. And then take a look at this. We have speaking of indoctrinations, that was Boston, right? That was Boston. It's a national crisis that's going on throughout the school systems. It's a national crisis. It happens everywhere. It's in every state. It's in every school. I'm telling you now, as a former teacher, it happens in every state, in every school. There's some teachers that will do what you're about to see. Let's play cut 3.
We're talking about ICE. What does ICE stand for?
Immigration, control.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement, okay?
Oh.
Guys who kind of look like cops. Is ICE above the law? No one is above the law, and if they break it, they should be held accountable, just like any of y'all, right? Can ICE lie to you?
Yes.
Yes, they can, and they absolutely will. They'll also try and bait you into saying or doing something that'll get you in trouble. Don't take the bait. Can ICE profile you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Yes, they can. ICE can judge and target you based off the color of your skin, the language that you speak, or the job that you work. However, do y'all remember this card from the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah? These are your rights. Do not open the door. Stranger danger 101. Don't answer any questions. You have the right to be silent, so be silent. Do not sign anything without talking to a lawyer. You are a minor. It is not your job to go toe-to-toe with ICE. The best thing you can do is probably just stay away from ICE. Can I hear y'all say, I want my lawyer?
I want my lawyer.
Yes.
That guy is Christian Sherwood. He is a teacher at Garland Independent School District. That is what's going on, I guarantee, in every school at least once a day in someone's classroom. I'm saying that with a straight face because I believe it. And that's happening on the taxpayer's dime. And why is that? Because we have teachers that are social activists. Why do we have teachers that are social activists? Oh, well, they went through the system already. They got programmed 15 years ago. They got programmed 8 years ago, right? They got primed middle school, high school, went to college, got zapped up, poof, airdrop back into the school system, perpetuating the bullshit. And this is going on throughout the country. Parents are seeing it. Parents are pulling their kids from it. This should not be going on. What is happening in education is that you have teachers that are looking for affirmation from young kids. That's what it is. You have a lot of young teachers that don't really have any pathway in life. They don't have any real goals. So what do? They look for affirmation through the kids. Sick. It's twisted. I've seen it though. And that's one of them right there. That dude, not all there. That is a parent's job. That's not a teacher's job. Okay? If a parent wants to know or wants to teach their kid about how to interact, that's a parent's responsibility. That is not a teacher's job. Your job is there to make sure they can read, write, know the subject and content that you're teaching. That is your job as a teacher. Or you could get a little bit more creative, right? You could get creative and make that an educational lesson still, without actually slandering without slandering law enforcement or making them look bad to the kids, right? But it's about through their lens on the narrative they want to push out in front of kids. This goes on all over the place, everyone. Please wake up to it. That's why homeschooling's taken off. That's why enrollment in schools is dropping. You have that going on where people have lost trust in the education system, in their local education system, because they've seen the rot, they have seen the corruption, they've seen the stuff that's getting pumped into them. They see boys going into their daughters' restrooms and like, hell no, I'm done, right? That is legitimately happening. You also have a byproduct of the enforcement of the illegal immigration is that kids are no longer going to school because of the fear, right? So less kids are attending schools. Well, that opens up more seats and that opens up more funding and more opportunities for the American taxpayer kids to receive the services they should be receiving in the public school system that they're actually paying for. But I want to share this post. This post is specifically about the state of the Colorado education system. So let's put this up about the culture within so many Colorado schools and school boards is one that does not want parents at the table. The increase of available online and homeschooling programs paired with declining enrollment should be a wake-up call. Maybe they should reconsider their approach of encouraging secrecy from parents, setting policies without considering parental input, and instead aim to work collaboratively with parents. But alas, the teachers' unions have their claws so deep into our education system that things are unlikely to change, even if to their own detriment. And then below that post is an announcement that the Colorado public school enrollment has dropped by more than 10,000 students this year. That is a huge number. That's almost 10%. I believe that's like around 7-8%, right? Like that is a big number of kids that are saying no. Of parents, I'm sorry, not kids, parents saying, no, you are not indoctrinating my kid anymore. But do you think the state of Colorado would listen and actually change course? No. The state of Colorado will double down on DEI, double down on gender affirming care, double down on trying to strip parents of their children who don't want to affirm gender transitioning for their children. They'll do that, right? This state is completely communistic. This state is off the rails. And it's all because the liberals. The liberals came in, took over, put their election system into place, captured. Right? But good for those parents, good for any parent that has the means and the ability to homeschool your kid. I know there are a whole bunch of different options that are out there now. You got homeschool pods that are occurring, right? You have like a cycle of parents, maybe 5 parents team up and they each take a day of the week, or in some cases they'll rotate weekly, right? You have some parents that are just able to tag team it between mom and dad's work schedule. I don't want my kid going to public school. I don't want my kid going to the public school I'm in a federal lawsuit with. I moved to my district because I wanted my kid to go to that district. I didn't look under the hood, and I got caught. That's on me and my wife. I thought we landed a sweet job and a sweet house in the district that I thought we were great. I wouldn't send my kid to that district. I wouldn't send your kid to that district. Okay, that district is morally corrupt. That district, I just wouldn't do it. I just would not do it. But once again, right, the concoction that has occurred in the public school system over the past 20 years, 30 years, has directly led to what we see on the streets each and every day. And then you have Commando Bavino out in Minneapolis today trying to do his job, get illegal criminal aliens off the street, and he gets met with resistance. So take a look what happens here.
Now. I'm in the gas. Get back. Gas is coming. Gas is coming. Gas on
Second
bill.
warning.
We're billing you.
Gas on bill, Savino.
Third warning.
Gas on bill.
All right. Gas. You piece of shit.
You just got what we have.
Get back.
Sam, I have it. Sam, back up. The green stuff.
This way.
The green stuff is super carcinogenic.
Yep. Guys.
Guys, don't breathe the green stuff. It's so dangerous.
Does anyone have jobs? Like, how are these agitators always able to show up, cause such a scene in the middle of the day? Because they're paid agitators. Why aren't they getting arrested? Like, enough is enough. You shouldn't just get arrested if you break into a church. If you're showing up there, getting in front of the ICE officers, cuff them up, throw them in jail, impeding a federal investigation, start perp walking these people, make examples of them. It needs to stop. ICE agents are put at risk every day because of garbage like this. And they're doing their job. They're going after criminal illegal aliens. Now, if they come across another illegal aliens that with them, hey, they may get picked up. It is what it is at this point. President Trump was elected on this. The American people want it. It is what it is. They need to do it. But how do you coexist in a country where you have people like this that go out there all the time and try and disrupt these type of deportations, right? And then what is it going to look like when the left comes back into power? Because you know they're going to. They're going to wind up coming back into power. What is it going to look like? Is that going to actually be then the people on the right trying to deport? No, because we don't do that stuff. We all have jobs. We care about our family, and we know if we step out of line, the communist regime will throw us in jail because they've done it. So I don't understand why the Republicans continue to play nice with these guys. I really don't. Because all it does is just tease us along till our demise. Once they come in, it will be game over. Okay? You had the disruption in Minneapolis at the church over the weekend. Don Lemon, right? So there have been some arrests. There's been some arrests. Let's put up Kristi Noem's post. Kristi Noem, Homeland Security investigators and FBI agents arrested Nakima Levy Armstrong, who played a key role in orchestrating the church riots in St. Paul, Minnesota. She is being charged with a federal crime under 18 USC 241. Religious freedom is the bedrock of the United States. There is no First Amendment right to obstruct someone from practicing their religion. And there she is getting perp walked. I don't care about her. Good. I don't care about her. Where's Don Lemon? Where's the face of that, right? He was the face of that protest. So if she's getting charged, there was 2 other arrests, I believe, today, a friend of hers, and then the other guy, William Kelly. We got a video of him in a little bit. But yet Don Lemon can't get arrested because I read that a magistrate judge refused to sign off on the complaint. So you have the differences between the haves and the have-nots. Welcome to your sacrificial lamb from the protest. Right there. Boom. There's your sacrificial lamb. You'll have the white dude, William Kelly, too, as your sacrificial lamb. Those idiots will get charged. Don Lemon won't. Have and have-nots. Different stories, right? Different stories. Even though Don Lemon was all up in there, he knew about it beforehand. He definitely pre-planned that. I wouldn't be surprised if he had something to do with the pre-planning of that. He had notification of it ahead of time because he was in the parking lot waiting, talking to the people. I believe he actually gave that lady a kiss on the cheek. And then that clown goes into the church and then has the balls to think he can interview the priest. Absolutely out of control. He needs to be charged. He needs to be locked up. Because I guarantee if anybody, any American would walk into a mosque to protest, they would be cuffed and charged. Civil rights violation. Boom. Full stop. So Pam Bondi, stop playing your bullshit game. Stop saying the magistrate judge didn't sign off on it. Make it happen. And that goes back to another part. The judiciary in this country is rotted to the core. When are states and Congress going to start impeaching judges at the state and federal levels? When is that going to start to happen? Because until you remove those people, if you don't remove those judges that are corrupt to the core, that are pressing this ideological garbage into the court system, we are going to be captured. So when is Congress going to start impeachment proceedings on federal judges? When are state houses going to start proceedings on state judges? I know the blue states won't, right? Colorado, like Magistrate Judge Valholic, he's on the fast track to get a federal judgeship. Remember that name, Magistrate Judge Scott Valholic, okay? Remember that name. I guarantee the next left president that comes in, Valholic gets a federal appointment on the bench. Anyone want to take that bet? He silenced my case. He silenced Tina. It's amazing that her and I had the same judge on something. But he shot down First Amendments in both of us. He will be fast-tracked to a federal judgeship. And then listen to this other name. Other judge, Regina Rodriguez out of Colorado. Listen for that name. That name, too, will get fast-tracked. Maybe to an appellate spot or possibly Supreme Court nominee. Because she, too, is a corrupt judge. Democrat appointee. First generation, but yet believes this country is systemically oppressive. How is this country systemically oppressive if you're sitting on the court? How is that possible? Judge, how'd you get up there? Did you get up there from merit or DEI? Because that's an interesting question when you get into it, when you start actually like unpacking things. What do people want to be known for? Right? Justice Brown, Kenyatta Brown, right? Do you want to be known for being a DEI justice or you got the justice spot based on merit? What's crazy is I think those people don't care because they just want the power. So they don't give a shit what the perception is about them or what the reality is. They just have the power. They don't care that they're incompetent. They don't care that they're stepping on the actual principles of the American Constitution because they want the power grab. And they're going to make sure that the white male feels the pain if they ever step foot in their courtroom. That's the truth of it. Mark it down, stamp it, facts. Scott T. Valholic, Regina Rodriguez, fast-tracked here in the state of Colorado on the federal level because of how they run the courts out here. And now, speaking of the charges for the Minneapolis church protest, I don't have William Kelly's arrest, but I do know it happened. But I do have a video of William Kelly just saying how he felt about his boo getting arrested.
They've just arrested Nakima Armstrong for our protest on Sunday. You know, my lawyers tell me they have no case. This use of the FACE Act and the KKK Act is complete bullshit. But let's be honest, they don't care. They don't believe in the rule of law. They're fascists. They're now going after The Clintons for the Epstein files? What the God damn it, people. When will you stop acting like everything's normal and going about your days? Get in the streets now. It's time to shut this country down. We are at fascism. The Republic has fallen. Please, Americans, please stand up for something. Do not be the same as those in 1930s Germany, because right now that's exactly what you're all doing. Please wake the up.
Yeah, he supports 1930 Germany is the crazy part. And he's in cuffs now, which is a good thing. He should have been charged. He was completely out of his mind at the church. Completely out of his mind, getting into people's faces there with their kids. Like, dude, you show up to my church, you're getting met with me. And there's like, I don't wish it to happen when I'm in a place with my family. But if it is, dude, I'm not putting up with it. I have had it with these assholes. I've had it with their trash. I'm tired of them destroying just our basic fundamental rights in this country. Destroy our fundamental rights, but yet give and make sure the others that are here illegally have their fundamental rights. Once again, how do we stop this fighting? And Mod, I see you in the chat said ICE agents aren't saints. Maybe, maybe not. ICE agents are out there doing the job, and I support them. ICE agents are put in the unattainable situation by Democratic politicians with their rhetoric to do their job. If Democrats really cared about their community, they would turn over these criminal illegal aliens to the ICE officers so we don't have these confrontations in the streets. These confrontations are happening in the streets only because the left want them to happen in the streets. So yeah, my ICE agents aren't saints. They're not saints because they're being put in the spot that no one can win in. They're doing the job that needs to be done that no one wants to do. And I will support ICE agents. I have friends that are ICE agents, and I hear the stories of what's going on, okay? When you're trying to hit up a child rapist, but you have whistles that are being blown from a block away to let the people know something's off in the area. And then what happens? That dude's allowed to slip out or get away. Target missed. And what does that mean? Chance to reoffend goes up again, right? So if you really don't like what you're seeing about the ICE agents, or Mod, you don't believe the ICE agents aren't being angels, well, ask yourself why. Why is this happening on this? Are they actually going out there and ready to just pop people in the face? No, they're being met with resistance from Jump Street. Okay, if they're able just to do their job, none of this would be happening. But they're not able to do their job in blue cities and blue states because of the blue politicians. They are the ones that are driving this. And President Trump had a mandate to do this. He had a mandate from the American people. He won the popular vote. He won the electoral vote. He got the go-ahead to do mass deportations. And it is true. It is unsustainable to keep the amount of illegal immigrants in this country to the level that it is. Look at what they take. Look at the payments that go out. Have you seen the recent videos of the suitcase monies that are getting busted at Minneapolis? Holy cow, I can't believe it. That's American dollars that these people aren't working for that are being taken away from us. So I support ICE 100%. Are they in unattainable situation? Yes, they are. But they are doing the best they can, and I believe they are exercising extreme self-control in some of these situations that they're being put in and what they're being called, and some of these people being doxxed and their families put in danger. So yeah. Go ICE. Keep it up, buddies. Right? Because the sad part is what's going to happen when the left comes back into power, these guys are going to be the ones that they're going to arrest and disbar, and they're going to ruin their families' lives. Just watch. These guys are on the front lines trying to get dangerous criminal illegal aliens out of this country that actually increase the risk and harm for every one of us. Okay, I'm super hypersensitive to this because I live in a sanctuary state, and now my city is now a sanctuary city. I get concerned when my wife and kid go out by themselves without me, and that should not be. But that's the type of society we live in now because blue politicians have made that status quo here to put the criminals back on the street and have the regular law-abiding citizens have to live in fear of what's going to happen to them. That's what happens in blue cities. That's what happens in blue states, all done purposely. Because those politicians never have to deal with the consequences of their decisions. The judges never have to deal with the consequences of their decisions or actions. Right? When was the last time you saw a judge get killed in a grocery store? Never. Why? Because they don't have to go there. When do you ever see a judge get killed? They don't, because they have other people running their jobs for them and they have security. So they're insulated from all this. So yeah, I support ICE once again. And then you have liberal women online, my favorite block of people. Liberal women talking about civil war. You got to hear this cut.
Oh, MAGA, don't you understand? If we have another civil war, all the blue states will control all the fresh water. You guys don't think this shit through, do you?
Yeah, we don't think it through. Okay. Well, did you see the similarity between her face and the other dude's face in the previous video? It's all there, right? The eyes. Right? It's those psych drugs they're on because they're all mentally not stable. We know that, right? We already know, like, the data's out there. Like, a lot of people, the majority of people on the left have mental health issues, right? And these are the people we look to cater to in this country. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. But yeah, talking about civil war. Oh, we got the fresh water. We got the fresh water. Okay, we got the guns. Game over. Next. Okay. And by the way, people, the smart ones probably have a stash of water. Maybe you have well water. But, you know, just the mindset, oh, we got the fresh. Okay. That's not going to do anything when you got 100 people showing up to take your water with weapons and you don't have them because you don't believe in guns. So, yeah, civil war, interesting take from the MAGA side. Woo, boy, oh boy, liberal white women, let me tell you, there's something else. And we're going to end on this clip today. It's a little short. I know we got to get going up to Fort Lupton. But I found this clip and we're going to talk about this. But listen to what this liberal woman said. Play it.
What I find really comical, me and all my liberal friends want to be traditional housewives. Well, not all of us, but most of us. But the problem is we don't like Republican men because they don't have the same sense of justice and morality that we do, because we care for every human being. And the liberal men don't believe in exploiting themselves for labor, so like we have to have an equal household, because the only ones that bust their ass and make enough money to support a stay-at-home mom, wife, whatever, are the Republican men, because they will exploit the shit out of themselves for money. Then they're miserable and burn out and take it out on everyone around them and refuse to take meds. So it's like, I'd rather be alone.
How about that? How about it? Sounds like she's really having the struggle there, right? She wants to be taken care of. I want to be taken care of. What do you mean? She doesn't believe in equity? Why does she need? Why she doesn't need to work? Oh, she doesn't want to work. Oh, because you can do that in America if you have a successful husband. Huh? Interesting. But she doesn't want a successful husband. She wants a liberal man where they have a shared household. 50-50. She doesn't seem to like that idea. I wonder why. Because beta males don't like to work. Liberal men are a bunch of bitches. They are. They're not as mentally strong as Republican men. They're not as emotionally strong as Republican. It's true. And she's saying it. She's telling you that. No, we got to kind of have an equal household. Why? Because the man doesn't want to work it, right? Where's his motivation? Where's his desire to want to provide for you, right? Like, if you don't have a man that wants to work or provide for you, do you think that man's going to protect you when some shit happens? You're out of your mind. He'll throw you right in front of somebody, sweetheart. And by the way, she's not that bad looking. She's got to get rid of the dye job. But she's not an unattractive woman. But her mind needs to get reprogrammed if she wants to have that type of lifestyle. She knows what she wants, but she won't give it to herself because Republican men are mean, apparently, basically is the long and short of it. We exploit people and exploit ourselves for labor. No, we work hard because we want everything we can get so that we can give it to our families. Like, that's the long and short of it. We want to provide for our families. We want to give to our families what maybe some of us never had growing up. At least that's what I'm doing now. Like, that's what I want. Not now. That's like always what I wanted. I always wanted my kid to have shit I didn't have, right? So, like, how do you do that? You have to work harder. You have to sacrifice in order to accumulate that, in order to pass on to others. But that one, It's just the mentality, the liberal mentality, but they want to be taken care of. It's amazing. They want to be taken care of. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I wonder what being a stay-at-home mom looks like for her. Does it mean for her that I take my kid to daycare or the nanny during the day and I just sit around at the house and then I go pick her up and then bring them home later? Or is it actually being a stay-at-home mom where you're in it every day? Because I guarantee she probably leans to option A. When she's talking about, no, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom to sit on her ass, play on her phone, watch her TV, and have her husband provide the money while someone else raises the kid. That's a problem too. The two-parent house is a complete disaster. It doesn't. It needs to come back here in America, right? Like the two-parent family structure, the nuclear family, husband and wife stay together, work on their problems to make sure their kids have a sound foundation, needs to come back. Because you get people like that are confused on what family actually is and how to get it and what it means and what it should be, right? Let's take a look at the comments here. There you go, Susan, God bless ICE. Dirty cops need to be fired and not be able to be a cop in another state. No argument there. If you're guilty of corruption as a police officer and you're guilty of violating people, then sure. But not every cop needs to be brought up on a charge. And that's what happens, is that they just charge cops from a video that they don't like they see. And then most of the time the cop gets off because it's part of what happens on the everyday street interaction, because people have a lack of respect for law enforcement. Oh, why is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. The left rhetoric from 2020. It's not gone anywhere. It hasn't changed anything. But liberal men are in touch with their feelings, who is, you're right, Chris. And she said that in there. It's important, right? You got to be in touch with your feelings. Feelings matter. Feelings over facts all day in the liberal world. That's why we are where we are. Feelings over facts all day. That's why we get what we get. Ladybug isn't a Republican. Any friend of Lindsey Graham is no friend of mine. Agreed. Lindsey Graham needs to go. A lot of those Republicans need to go, the older gentlemen. I agree with you. All the Democrats need to go, but who knows? All right, everyone, we're going to get going. Please don't forget to check out Joe on the debate tonight, 6 o'clock. The live stream was dropped into the chat at start of show. It's also on his socials. Check it out. Women of Weld on Facebook. We're going to be up there in Lupton County. Joe's going to rock it, kick ass, take names, and he's going to hold it down. I should have saved that for the end. I still got to pray us out. Let me pray us out. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you for this opportunity to host this podcast and to elevate Joe's name, voice, and mission to who's out there. Dear Lord, thank you for every opportunity that comes our way. And Lord, please let us move our hearts into forgiveness for those that have hurt us or harmed us in the past. I know it's not good to hold on to the anger and frustration, Lord. I know, but it's still there. Please, God, help me move past it. Show it in my heart, not to forgive, but to forget. I'm going to finish with a Hail Mary. Oh, before that, also, Lord, please let our team travel up to Fort Lupton safely today, and for Joe to have a tremendous and successful debate tonight and introduce him to the world of Colorado. I know Colorado knows him, but let the politics, gubernatorial side of Colorado get to know Joe tonight. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. All right, everyone, we're back tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Joe will be in chair. I should be behind the scenes. Tune in tonight, enjoy it, and also drop some comments to us. Let us know what you think. Have a good night, everyone. Check us out tonight, 6 p.m. See you tomorrow.
Rising from the fight for the forgotten and the free, exposing rigged machines, Kuma's lies, dominions deceit, pays a grand each day, shielding truth from corrupt halls, but he won't back down, standing tall through it all. Martin, Tina Peters break the chains that bind her tight, hand count votes in one day, bring the fraud to light. No more mailing scams, no machines to steal the night. Restore the people's voice, make Colorado right. Governor Oltmann, lead us voting true. Badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away. Shrink the bloated state, let the people have their say. It's our rally call. Truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Help the single moms, bring back trade school strong. Opportunity for youth, where the brave belong. Audit every NGO, ban the wolves that roam. Reclaim our stolen land, bring the power home. Eric Coomer's fraud dominions, rig design, expose the stolen votes, cross the dangerous line. No more victimhood, no chains on you and me. He's running for governor for real liberty. Smash the fraud machine, pardon heroes jailed. For the have-nots rising, truth will never fail. One warrior defies the corrupt elite. Colorado reborn, strong on our feet. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true. Badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away. Shrink the bloated state, let the people have the say. Governor Oltmann, it's our rally call. Truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Whoa, 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 whoa. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true. Governor Oltmann, freedom forever, Colorado rise. Governor up, governor up, governor up, governor up, governor up, governor up. Whoa. Rise up untamed, in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Truth forever. true forever.